everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go over 6 Japanese books that are getting translated into English in the year of 2022, but this is only for the very first quarter of 2022, so January, February, March. I will again do videos closer to the publication dates for the second, third, and fourth quarter because I have to split it up, because if I didn't, there'd be 20 books I'd have to discuss in one video. And with how much I like to talk, that's just not gonna happen. So, releases for the first quarter of 2022, with the caveat and the understanding that publication dates might vary. They might get pushed back, they might not happen, so everything is very tentative. But as of right now, these are the 6 books that are to be released in the first quarter of 2022. So let's start with the first book, which is a collection of short stories called Langine and Other Stories by Junichiro Tanizaki, translated by Anthony Chambers and Paul McCarthy, due out in January of 2022. Tanizaki, you're gonna get good stuff with Tanizaki. It's predetermined. He's just too good. But there's a few stories. One, the title story, Langine, recounts the fantastic journey of a precocious young boy through an eerie nighttime landscape, replete with striking natural images and uncanny human encounters. It ends with a striking revelation. Tanizaki has no problem delving into very deep and dark emotions, but writing it in a very beautiful way. So that is definitely a short story collection that I would keep my eye out on. The next book coming out in January of 2022 is called My Annihilation by Fuminori Nakamura. And he, according to this blurb, is the master of literary noir. Oh gosh, how would you, I can't pronounce that word in English. Noir, literary noir. So, mastery of literary noir. And let's see, there isn't too much of a blurb on this one. All it says is, delving relentlessly into the darkest corners of human consciousness, My Annihilation interrogates the unspeakable thoughts all humans share that can be monstrous when brought to life, revealing with disturbing honesty the psychological motives of a killer. So with that sentence, that definitely gives me like Kenzaburo Oe vibes. It gives me Murakami Ryu vibes. Will it be to that level? I don't know. I'm not familiar with Fuminori Nakamura. I've never read his works. I think I have one translated into French. But if I do, I definitely have not gone. I haven't not gotten into it. Yeah, I mean, Oe and Murakami are definitely more on the literary side. They deal with these topics, but they're more literary. Ryu Murakami can go a little bit more genre, especially with like books like In the Miso Soup and Audition, which definitely have that very like suspense thriller kind of quality to it. But the thing with Ryu Murakami is that he always has something to say underneath that veneer. So is Fuminori Nakamura's book My Annihilation going to be more surface level, or will it have more to say? I'd be very interested to see. But from that little blurb, I mean, it sounds like this could be really, really good. Next, a book coming out in February of 2022, Fish Swimming in Dappled Sunlight by Riku Onda. Set in a Tokyo flat over the course of one night, Aki and Hiro spend one last night together before going their separate ways. Each believes the other to be a murderer and is determined to extract a confession before the night is over. Who has been killed and why? Which one is the killer? In an intense battle of wills over the course of a night, the true nature of the pair's relationship and the chain of events leading up to this night are gradually revealed in this gripping psychological thriller that keeps the reader in suspense to the very end. So yeah, that sounds fun. So literary buried in a thriller buried in a literary whodunit, explores the mysteries of romantic love, memory, and attaining self-knowledge. And this is translated by Alison Watts. Again, coming out in February 2022. Riku Onda, again, not an author that I am familiar with or that I've read from, I don't believe. Let me check. If I do have one of her books, it's probably, again, one of the books that I bought in French translation. Oh yeah, so I do have one of her books, but actually I have it in Japanese called Yoru no Picnic, so Night Picnic. This is a recent buy for me. I only bought it maybe like 2 months ago, and yeah, so I haven't read it. But yeah, okay, that's exciting. So I do have one of these authors' books on my TBR list, but not this particular one being translated into English. But yeah, sounds fun. So Fish Swimming in Dappled Sunlight. Maybe when that comes out in February, I can read the other book that's in Japanese and sort of like get an idea of maybe I want to read the English translation or not. Another book that I'm probably the most excited about out of the 6 books that I'm talking about today is called Woman Running in the Mountains, and that is by Yuko Tsushima, translated by Geraldine Harcourt. Geraldine Harcourt. I don't know how she pronounces her very French name into English. But yeah, Yuko Tsushima is the daughter of Osamu Dazai, the very famous Japanese author Osamu Dazai. And she wrote Territory of Light, which is absolutely beautiful, just absolutely stunning book. And then Territory of Fortune. And she depicts the single mother so very well, that yeah, I've read 2 of her books, absolutely love them, super excited about this new translation coming out. And so this one, to read the blurb: alone at dawn in the heat of midsummer, a young woman named Takiko departs on foot for the hospital to give birth to a baby boy. Her pregnancy, the result of a casual affair with a married man, is a source of sorrow and shame to her abusive parents. For Takiko, however, it is a cause for reverie. Her baby, she imagines, will be hers and hers alone, a challenge but also an instrument for her long-wished for independence. Takiko's first year as a mother is filled with the intense bodily pleasures and pains that come from caring for a newborn, learning how to accommodate him. At first, Takiko seeks refuge in the company of other women, in the maternity hospital, in her son's nursery. But as he grows, her life becomes less circumscribed, expanding outward into previously unknown neighborhoods, in her city and then beyond, into the countryside, toward a mountain that captures her imagination and feeling for a wilder freedom. So yeah, that sounds absolutely beautiful, breathtaking, stunning, and I will definitely be getting my hands on that one for sure. Because like I said, she describes the plight of a single mother in Japan so well, and that includes both, as mentioned in this blurb, the concept of this reverie and love and affection, but she also goes on the darker side where it's there's often a selfishness within the single mothers, the women who prioritize maybe their personal life over the child, and sort of, or maybe use the child to manipulate other people's emotions, things like that. So she really delves into both of those topics, and she delves into those beautiful topics and those really important and hard-hitting topics while having a writing that's absolutely supreme. And her use of light, especially in Territory of Light, I mean, that was all about using light in literature to really fully show the range of emotion that was going through the single mother. But even in Child of Fortune, the same thing, her use of like the natural world to really help mirror and almost augment the emotions of the main character, the main single mother, is absolutely fantastic. So Yuko Tsushima's new book, Woman Running in the Mountains, I will definitely be getting my hands on it because I want to read that one for sure. The next book coming out is actually a collection of short stories by Genpei Akasegawa, and it's called I Guess All We Have Is Freedom, translated by Matthew Fargo, and this book is also coming out in February. Not much of a blurb on this one, just a single sentence that says, in these stories, ostensibly quiet tales of a single dad in 1970s Tokyo, a doorknob practices radical politics, a peeled tomato smarts in pain, raw oysters tick like time bombs, and gravestones provide a critique of capitalism. Oh, that could go in so many directions. I like the idea that it's about a single dad. So just like Yuko Tsushima, who's really powerful at describing single women, I have not read any books in Japanese or any Japanese books about single fathers. The closest I've gotten about a book about fatherhood would be Kensaburo Oe's A Personal Matter, which he describes the feelings he got of when he discovered that his first child, his son, was going to be basically a vegetable. And so the torment that went behind that. That's the closest I've gotten to books about fatherhood. So having a book about a single dad sounds really, really interesting. The idea of peeled tomato smarts in pain, raw oysters tick like time bombs. I don't know, that's giving me very much Kobe Abe vibes. Just like his book, I believe it's The Kangaroo Notebook, where the main character has radishes sprouting out of his leg and he goes to the doctor to try and heal that. And when he does that, he gets sucked into another world full of nurses who are trying to steal his blood to feed like the vampire king and things like that. It's really, really absurd. So this could be up my alley, or it could be not my alley whatsoever. So this one I'm interested. I think I could have fun with this one. And then the last book coming out in the first quarter of 2022, it's coming out in March of 2022, is the newest English translation of Yuko Tawada. The book is called Scattered All Over the Earth, translated by Margaret Mitsutani. Reading the blurb: welcome to the not too distant future. Japan, having vanished from the face of the earth, is now remembered as the land of sushi. Hiruko, its former citizen and a climate refugee herself, has a job teaching immigrant children in Denmark with her invented language Panska. As she searches for anyone who can still speak her mother tongue, Hiruko soon makes new friends. Her troupe travels to France, encountering an umami cooking competition, a dead whale, an ultra-nationalist named Breivik, unrequited love, kakuzo robots, red herrings, uranium, and Andalusian matador. Episodic and mesmerizing scenes flash vividly along, and soon they're all next off to Stockholm. So for me, this one, I'll probably read it, but I read Toko Tawada's other book that's been translated into English. It's called The Emissary, or it's called The Emissary, I believe, if you have the UK version. If you have the American version, it's called Lost Children of Tokyo, I believe, although that title I think has now been abandoned, and both editions are both called The Emissary. And that book was a book that I really liked the concept of, basically a future Japan where all young children aren't surviving and the only remaining citizens are all old and past like 100 years old even, but like young generation just cannot survive. And so I really love that concept, especially when you consider the fact that Japan definitely has a high elderly population compared to other countries, and that creates a huge problem in Japan with pensions and healthcare and families being able to take care of their grandparents, especially considering now in modern Japan, families don't really live in the same house anymore as they used to, so these elderly people have no one to take care of them. So I really thought that book, The Emissary, had such promise and had such an interesting idea, but I wasn't really happy with the actual book itself. It didn't really go anywhere for me, and it was a bit disappointing to say the least. So I think that this new book is a book I think I'd still very likely would end up reading, but I think I'm not going to go into it with high expectations. I'm just going to go into it and see what happens. And my computer just died, which is perfect because that is basically the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. My next video will be my Christmas book haul, which I'm so happy to share with you guys, because that basically means my TBR upcoming. And then when it comes to new releases, upcoming releases in 2022, when it comes to giving second quarter releases, I will be definitely be releasing a video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!